The Galactic Council had classified the Krithax as apex predators long before humanity ever left their cradle world. Six-limbed, scaled, with jaws that could crack duraplast and claws that shredded starship hulls. They were the galaxy's nightmare made flesh. Their empire stretched across 40 systems, built on conquest and dominance. No species had ever tamed them. No species had ever tried, until Captain Rhea Solon arrived on the prison moon of Vakros 9. The war had ended 3 months prior. Humanity's unlikely victory against the Krithax dominion had shocked every civilization that bothered to watch. The Council expected trials, executions, the typical victor's justice. Instead, Earth's diplomatic corps sent teachers, doctors, and engineers. They sent Rhea. She stood before the makeshift compound, watching the Krithax young through reinforced barriers. 47 cubs, orphaned by the war, ranging from barely hatched to adolescent. They snarled and snapped at each other, their movements pure predatory grace even in captivity. The other guards kept their distance. Rhea walked right up to the barrier. "Beautiful, aren't they?" she murmured. Lieutenant Voss, her security officer, looked at her like she'd lost her mind. "Captain, those things killed 3,000 colonists on Kepler 442b. Their parents ripped through our defense lines like paper." "I know," Rhea said softly. She still had the scars. 3 parallel lines across her abdomen, where Krithax talons had nearly gutted her. She'd watched friends die screaming, but she'd also watched the recordings from the Dominion's shattered homeworld. She'd seen the nurseries buried under rubble, the desperate mothers who fought not from aggression, but from fear. The next morning, Rhea entered the compound alone. The cubs went silent. 47 pairs of luminous amber eyes tracked her movement. The largest, an adolescent male with dark crimson scales, stepped forward, his lips peeled back, revealing rows of serrated teeth. A warning growl rumbled from his chest. Rhea sat down cross-legged, 5 meters away. She didn't run, didn't flinch. She simply pulled out a data tablet and began reading aloud. An old Earth story, where the wild things are. For 3 days, she did nothing but read. The cubs watched, suspicious, hungry, confused. On the 4th day, the adolescent male crept closer. Rhea kept reading, her voice steady and calm. By the end of the week, he was lying 2 meters away, listening. She learned his name was Vorik. Or rather, the series of clicks, growls, and hisses that served as his name. She couldn't quite replicate it with her human vocal cords, so he accepted Vorik as close enough. He was 7 cycles old, equivalent to a human 12-year-old, and his parents had been generals in the Dominion fleet. Both died when their dreadnought was destroyed over Terra. "I could hate you," Rhea told him one evening, sitting beside him as the compound's artificial sun began its descent. "Your kind hurt mine. My kind hurt yours. We could spend forever being enemies." Vorik's head tilted, trying to understand the translated words through his neural implant. "But hate is exhausting," she continued. "And I'm tired." "Vorik, aren't you tired?" The young Krithax made a sound, not quite a growl, not quite a whimper, something lost and sad. Rhea reached out slowly and, for the first time, touched his scaled head. He didn't bite. He leaned into her palm. That night, she taught him his first human word, "Goodnight." Vorik's mouth struggled with the unfamiliar phonetics. It came out as g, ni, tu, but it was close enough. Rhea smiled. "Good night, Vorik." The next evening, when the artificial sun set, Vorik said it again. Louder this time. The other cubs watched. Within a week, they all said it. "Good night, Captain Rhea." Some better than others, but all trying. It became ritual. As the light faded each day, 47 apex predators wished their human teacher good night. The Galactic Council heard about it, of course. They sent observers, ambassadors, scientists. Everyone wanted to see the impossible, the galaxy's most feared predators domesticated by a single human with a storybook. But Rhea corrected them every time. "They're not domesticated. They're not pets. They're people. 6 months later, the Krythax provisional government formed. The surviving Dominion elders, humbled by defeat, requested Earth's continued assistance in rebuilding. They asked specifically for Rhea to help establish their first peace academy. She accepted. Vorik was her first student. He excelled. His predatory instincts channeled into strategy and leadership. He learned calculus and combat ethics, quantum mechanics, and conflict resolution. He grew into something the galaxy had never seen: a Krythax warrior scholar, trained in both the old ways and the new. Years passed. The cubs became adults. The adults became leaders. And every single one of them carried Rhea's lessons forward. They built hospitals alongside fortresses. They negotiated before they attacked. They taught their own young not just to hunt, but to think, to question, to choose. The galaxy watched in awe as the most aggressive species in known space transformed. Not broken, not conquered, but changed from within by one human who refused to see monsters where there could be students. On the 15th anniversary of the war's end, the Krythax unveiled a monument on their homeworld. A statue of Captain Rhea Solon, sitting cross-legged, a data tablet in her lap. Around her, 47 Krythax cubs carved in perfect detail. The inscription was in both human standard and Krythax script. She taught us words when we knew only roars. She showed us peace when we knew only war. At every sunset, we remember. Vorik stood at the dedication ceremony. Now General Vorik, commander of the Krythax defense fleet. His scales had darkened with age, but his eyes still held that same amber intensity. Beside him stood Rhea, her hair now streaked with silver, the scars on her abdomen a faded memory. As the twin sons of the Krythax homeworld began their descent, Vorik turned to the assembled crowd. Thousands of Krythax, dignitaries from 100 worlds, all watching. He spoke in a voice that carried across the plaza, in perfect human standard, the words he'd learned so long ago. "Good night, Captain Rhea Solon. Good night, and thank you." From every direction, the response came from young and old, civilian and soldier, from Krythax, who'd never met Rhea but knew her story. The tradition had spread across their entire civilization. Good night, 40 billion apex predators, honoring the human who taught them that strength wasn't just in claws and teeth, but in choosing when not to use them. Rhea wiped her eyes, looked up at Vorik, and smiled. "Good night, old friend. Sleep well." The sun set. The galaxy turned. And somewhere in the darkness between stars, a new kind of peace took root, built not on fear or dominance, but on a simple bedtime ritual, shared between a human and the predators she refused to fear.